5-0 Podcast. Let's go. Welcome to the 5-0 Podcast. We're just police officers, a bunch of retired police officers, having a good time talking about our experiences, everything that we've been through. And we hope that we could impart some knowledge and educate people, and while having a good time and sharing a few laughs. Let me introduce myself. My name is Frederick Diaz. I'm a retired police officer of 24 years in a local agency here. I've served as a lieutenant, as a sergeant. I was a leader of the drug unit for a while. Also, I also worked in the detective division. So I've shared many hats, and I've done a lot of things in my career. We're just going to go around the room and just introduce ourselves. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is George Mejia. Work 23 years in law enforcement, retired, and can't say a whole lot like Fred, but I'm enjoying life.
Hey, my name is Carl Smith. Worked at a local agency, retired, and did quite a few things there at the department, from investigations, the gang stuff, and now I'm just enjoying life.
Let's get into it, fellas. So, what's the most exciting thing that we've seen in law enforcement? I'll start with you, Carl.
Most exciting thing I've seen in law enforcement.
Yeah, based on your career, based on your experiences, based upon everything.
Well, I mean, I guess I could go a couple ways. I've seen some really horrible things, and I've seen some really great things. I've been privy to seeing a baby born, and I thought that was, for me, I thought that was a highlight of my career, just to see something like that. But then I've also seen, horrible things where, baby deaths. So it's, I don't know. I mean, there's a gambit.
Cool. George?
Well, one of the exciting things that I've seen throughout my years with the PD is advancement, technology. That bring, more to the policing. When I started, we didn't have half the stuff that these younger generation, so to speak, has to do the job. We struggled a little bit, but we always made it work. So, as far as excitement, maybe that is in my line of being excited to see policing advance.
How so? How so in police
Well,
advancements?
you talk
what type
about
of technology?
We can start off with the basic body cameras. When I started, we didn't have that. We had to pretty much whatever we say would be, I don't want to say be the Bible, but whatever we say, that was it. It was on paper. Now, whatever you say gotta
match what's on camera.
Gotta matches what's on the body camera.
Yeah.
So, that's one of the main things, one of the biggest changes. And then you got cameras in the squad cars that view all your traffic stop, make sure you don't violate people's rights. Now, is that good or bad?
Let's talk about that a little bit, though.
Okay.
So the body cameras is basically like you got a camera attached to your ass all day long. Everything you say, everything you do, even some of your thoughts is getting recorded. Everything you're perceiving. What do you think, Carl?
I think body cam is a good thing in certain ways. Well, matter of fact, in a lot of ways, because think about it. Everybody out there has a camera on their phone, and we're being recorded by the public, but they're not showing. When things come out on the news or whatever, they're not showing the full.
They're only showing you a snapshot.
They're showing you a snapshot, but our body cam is catching everything from the start to finish. As long as, and remember, we was in the, I call it the infancy of the body cams when we first got ours.
Yeah.
And I remember that.
A lot of resistance.
There was a lot of resistance to it. Yes, there was a lot of resistance to it. But I recall that when you had to remember, turn your camera on.
Yeah.
You had to make sure, tap it, make sure your camera came on.
Yeah.
Unlike as it got better and the technology got better, as soon as you activated your lights, your cameras came on.
True.
So,
Yeah.
so we just had to adjust with the times. Granted, it kept some of us in check. It kept a lot of us in check.
Yeah.
But I'll be the first one to admit, I still said some off the wall things on camera, but it's that heat of the moment, and you're like, hey.
Accountability is big.
Yeah.
Accountability is big.
Yeah,
So
I
I think in that regard, it's been great. But I got to tell you, if like when we first started, especially me and you, if we would have had a body cam back then, bruh, I ain't gonna lie, we would have been indicted. We would have been indicted.
Yeah, and that is so
And
true.
I'm talking about the violence factor.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Basically, it was a tougher time, and we were more heavy-handed. That's just a fact, right?
It is, and then I don't support it like Smith has said. I think I never liked it when it came about.
You're talking about the body
the
cam.
body cam, yeah, because I mean you gotta figure, you start policing in 2000, and then you're used to a certain way, and then all of a sudden the department throw this on you, and you're like, oh my gosh, like what
It's
are
a
we
culture
doing here?
shock. It's a
Yes,
culture shock.
pretty much.
Yeah, I agree.
And it was hard for me to adjust to that, and you viewers, we can't turn it off. If you turn it off, you got to justify why you turn it off. So it was hard for me, and I never liked it. Like Smith has said, it's good for some reasons and it's bad for some.
Yeah.
I guess I would lean more to the bad for me because I was working in a hostile environment. So you know what I'm trying to say. It's you can't be the nice guy all the time because these guys on the street, they're not nice.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So you got to make adjustments here.
Yeah. What I think the violence factor, right? So like the way I was trained when I first came on, I came out the military, so I was a squared away officer, and I was going to do the best job that I could. But basically, when I came out the military and I got a job as a police officer, I was trained by black police officers in the community I worked for. And basically what they told me, in so many words, and some of it in those words, if somebody runs, you whoop their ass. If somebody answers back, you kick their ass.
That is true.
Kick their ass, not whoop their ass. If somebody flinches, you kick their ass. If somebody answers you wrong, you kick their ass. So I said, well, wait a minute. Let me make sure I got this right because I want to make sure I get hired. I want to make sure I stay here. I want to do the best job I can. So let me get this straight. And I told my field training officers, so no matter what, I basically kicked their ass. And they're like, yeah, you got it. And so definitely the way law enforcement would react or the way they would respond in the past is definitely different today. And I think body cameras bring about more of a accountability where they're not going to be as heavy-handed and they're going to take extra precautions when it comes to use of force. What do you think, Carr?
No, I agree with you. I mean, there is a certain accountability that you're going to have to worry about when it comes to that body cam, because we all know, but that body cam, if your report don't match what's on that body camera, you got a problem.
Yeah,
that's true.
You got a problem. but at the same notion, and like I said, when those body cams first came out, we were still policing in the old ways.
Yeah.
Yes,
we were
that's
still
true.
policing in the old way. Because
It wasn't regulated.
Yeah, it
though,
wasn't
when it first
regulated,
came out.
and you're not gonna. Rome wasn't built overnight, so there ain't no way that old officers is going to just automatically change overnight and stop
That is
doing
true.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying nobody here is saying that. Hey, the times before was policing with the times before. Hey, and the criminals or suspects or whatever they may be at the time knew. They knew if they ran from us, if we caught them, what was going to happen.
You got the ass whooping
And,
coming.
and you know what was so funny? You're so right because I used to be chasing someone, telling them, better not get caught.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can laugh about it now.
Yes.
You know, we sit around here talking.
But
about
I even
things.
think like, because I talked to old timers who were criminals when they were younger, or
Yeah.
you know they had a past, and we still talk now because I'm older and I'm retired, and they're older and they're retired from what they used to do, and they knew they would basically say, yeah, man, we knew the business, we knew we had it coming if we ran or if we try to fight or if we try to swallow dope
Yeah.
or if we try to take a gun out, we knew it was coming, and it was just like an unwritten rule, and that's just how it went. I feel like today it's too far the opposite direction where officers are getting killed because they're very timid of taking any
Yes.
type of action. So whereas
Yes.
when we first started, it was too heavy-handed, but now it's the extreme exact opposite,
Wow.
where officers are feeling to take action when someone's aiming a gun at them.
Well-
it's crazy. It's almost ridiculous. It's ludicrous at this
yes,
point.
it's social media. Everybody's live streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you're so right. Officers are scared and they're getting killed.
Yeah.
You know, it's sad.
But you know, I've heard, and I've heard this on a couple occasions. People say, "Well, that's what you signed up for." No, I didn't sign up to be killed.
That's
I'm
right.
sorry.
That's
And
right.
That's when I was in the military. No, I didn't sign up to be killed. I would like to go home at the end of the night, kiss my kids, put them to bed, and maybe make love to my wife.
Yeah.
And that's it. No, I didn't sign up to be killed. And then I'm gonna tell you, if it comes down between me and you,
Guess
it's
what?
gonna be me every time because
Man, you got to go home.
yeah, because I gotta go home.
Yeah.
But and there was always that written rule that we all at the time we began shift, we started shift together. We're all going to go home.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
That was
yeah.
all written. That was that written rule, unwritten rule
There,
for us.
Safety.
Safety.
Safety was
Definitely.
always key.
But yeah, now the newer generation, and not to take anything from them because they're in a totally different time
Yes.
of policing.
Yes.
So I'm not going to take anything away from them. But if you fail to act properly in a timely manner, you're putting your life on the line and your life of your other officers on the line because you're so afraid because you're afraid of the fact that your city won't back you, the state won't back you, and that's a problem because that was created by them, by the state, by your local municipalities. And it's making it an unsafe work environment for officers.
Yeah, and let's bring up the what is it? No bond.
Oh, the no bond
Yes.
bill. Yeah.
That's killing
Illinois.
us. Because you get habitual criminals that just continue doing what they're doing. Because guess what? We will arrest them, and then the next morning,
They're out.
They're out.
They're doing their thing.
what do we have?
Well, again, that I'm not political. I tell anybody this. I'm not political one way or the other. But I will say this. I was created by Democrats, people. Sorry. If you don't like it, sue me.
All right, story time. What's the craziest thing that you've seen in your career as far as officer actions? And this is pre-body cam.
Pre-body.
Pre-body cam.
Oh, free.
Pre-body cam, yeah.
Put me.
I'll do this one.
Hold on. Let me preface it. Let me
Okay.
go a step further. Use of force incident.
Use of force incident.
Pre-body cam that you seen that if there were a body cam,
It would probably wouldn't have happened.
it probably wouldn't have happened or it wouldn't have been good for that officer.
Well,
Well, that's
now,
easy.
now it's different
Hey,
times, of course.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we got too many.
We got
instances.
so
yeah,
many.
there's a
come
line.
on.
It's kind of hard to pick
Hey,
out just one.
All right. Well, no, it's easy for me. I was with this guy, and it was funny too. And I know he remembers it. We were doing.
I know where you're
We
gonna
were up
go,
on
go
the
ahead.
north side, and we caught this guy with dope, and
Yes.
we caught him, and it was like four of us, and we got him on the ground, and he was trying to not release the dope. I'm pretty sure he didn't swallow it, but he had it in his hand. And we're going, downtown on this guy. And actually, dispatch called us and say, hey, I just got a report that there's 4 guys beating on this one guy. And I bet you remember that, right?
Yeah, I do. I do.
We
I
remember
do.
that, and it was us, but we had to do again. We had to do what we had to do at the time to get the dope. That's what we were, dope unit, and that's what we did. But I thought it was very funny for the neighbors calling the police on the police, so to speak.
Yeah, I have another story. That's a good one. Got another story. One time we were doing a narcotic sting operation, and we had an unmarked van. So like the drug unit and everyone that was part of it, we had an unmarked van, and we saw the target, and we wanted to take him into custody, but we wanted to work him so he could probably get us more dope. So we basically seen him on a bike. We snatched him up, threw him in a van. And there were calls over the radio saying, "Hey, we got a report of someone getting kidnapped at this location." So one of our guys literally had to go over the radio and was like, "No, disregard. It's us. We're in the middle of an operation." So,
Yes, we did quite a few of those, man. So those were good times, though.
yeah, those were. What do you got?
I think the better one. I think you remember this one. Throwing people through coolers in a store.
Oh yeah, that was an interesting one.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go into that? Or?
Yeah, I think you should go into that.
All right, so there was this one incident where it was a guy. He had walked into the store. He just got done with a fight. He walked into the store. He had a gun on him. He takes the gun out. He disposes of it in a beer cooler.
Yes.
I come in and it's just me and him. So I'm like, damn, I got to play this cool because I don't want him trying to go for the gun. But, at that point in time, I'm confident. I'm brash. I think I'm Superman. I didn't give no beep. So basically, I went up to him and I'm kind of like, hey, bro, get up against the wall. And then we're going to go and get that gun that you just stashed in that cooler. So he basically starts trying to get away from me and go towards the cooler. I don't know if he was going towards the cooler or trying to run out.
Get away, yeah.
Couldn't tell, but I wasn't taking the chance. So basically, me and him are wrestling. At the time, I'm a detective, so I got kind of penny loafers. I got like a tie, and I'm slipping all over the floor. So I'm like, you know what? I basically took him because I didn't want him to go anywhere. I threw him into a beer cooler, and at that point in time, I slammed him on the ground. And then there was a little bit more use of force, but there was like potato chips and glass and coolers and all types of mess exploding all over the place. And so eventually, we got him into custody. Some of the other officers came in. So it was interesting because when he went to bond court, I mean, he wasn't looking too good. I mean, that's just how it went. And this guy had an extensive history of guns, violence, attempt murder, all types of stuff on his record.
Yeah.
You know the worst thing about working on first shift was that I always had if I was a transport guy, I always be transporting somebody from third shift. Third shift arrested.
Always,
they got tuned up.
Man.
And then there was 2 instances of this, and both times I took them to bond court, it was the same judge.
Oh man.
And the judge was like, "Well, what happened to you?" "I don't know, Judge. I'm just transport." That's the first thing I said.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, I knew what happened, but I'm like, hey.
But I feel like society sometimes don't understand that when you are in a drug unit, and you're basically going after the segment of society that commits 30% of the most violent crimes. So these guys are either going to fight you, they're going to shoot you, or they're going to take off. There's nothing else. Very seldom you might have someone who's just going to give up. Because these guys have been in prison, in and out of prison. This is what they do, right? Some of them got away with murders. So you're not dealing with, unfortunately, you're not dealing with choir boys. You're not dealing with people who are part of the Peace Corps. You're targeting the most violent, deadly individuals of your society. So I think sometimes society don't understand it. You got to come at them hard. If you ever saw a Training Day, it takes a wolf to catch a wolf. You don't send a lamb to catch a wolf. You send a wolf to catch a wolf. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
And you're so right, Freddie. But one thing I want to interject here is that the department we work, there was always a cover unit in my time.
Yeah.
I don't know about now. excuse me, but when I was working, I could depend on my cover if I would ever get into a struggle or something. I get on the radio. I'm pretty sure I didn't work for a big city, so it was easy for us to get around. But that's one thing I want to say, man. People were always there in my time to cover us.
Yeah, even if you didn't like the guy, because there's some people that you're never gonna like, right? And even if you thought the guy was an asshole, when it came down to it and your life's on the line, that same guy may be called upon to save your life, and they were there for it. They were good for it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I agree. I mean, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what department or if you was in the military. You're always gonna have those few guys that you be thinking, oh man, I hope he don't come home. because either they're gonna one or two things is gonna happen. Either you can't trust them because they're not good in a fight, or they're gonna let you down, or they're gonna incite a riot, and you're gonna be fighting.
Well, you got those too. Don't get
Yeah,
me
those,
wrong.
yeah.
I mean, for the most part, I'm talking about 85% of
Yes.
people will throw down with you if need be.
Yes.
Because you don't want a fellow officer to come your location and just stand there and look. And
You
you're
had a
fighting
couple
with
scary
somebody.
ones. You always
Yeah.
have scary
But you
ones.
got a handful.
Yes.
But so far, where I never had. I think one occasion I had where somebody just kind of sat back and saw me and a fellow officer struggling with someone and he didn't assist. But I'm here to tell the tale. So but just so you guys know that are watching the show, that it's not always what you think out there in law enforcement. It can be good, it can be bad, but some people get hurt, some don't.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, at the sake of being chauvinistic, let's talk about females in law enforcement. We'll start with you, Carl. How do you feel about females, female police officers?
Overall, I don't have a problem with females or young ladies, young women in law enforcement. Because it's not the gender, it's the fighting the dog at the end of the day.
Yeah, you can't measure a person's heart.
Yeah.
No matter what their gender is, or
So,
big or small.
So, if you come, you come and you going to war with me, you might get your ass. I might get my ass kicked. Hey, I'm not gonna say I'm the best person on the planet. I'm just saying that can happen. It's the ones that are there. They're all cute, and I got my manicure nails, and you're not worth. You're just not worth.
You can't hold your weight.
Yeah. What's the point? Why? Then I start thinking, why are you here? Why are you here? I mean, are you here because you want to be here? Or are you here because you just need a job? Status? Because at the end of the day, I don't need nobody worthless trying to back me up. And I don't need nobody worthless beside me.
I mean, no matter what, no matter how cute you are, how pretty you are, or you got your hair done or your nails.
You can't be afraid.
No matter what, at the end of the day, and you could be good verbalization skills, and you could be very nurturing when it comes to those type of cases where kids are abused.
Or what happens when it breaks
But
down.
at the end of the day, you need someone who's going to respond in an aggressive manner when the shit hits the fan.
Yes.
If an officer's life's on the line, if a person's life's on the line, no matter how pretty or cutesy or gentle you are, you need to respond decisively and aggressively when the shit hits the fan.
That is true. Throughout my career, I don't think I encounter nobody that would fit. I'm not knocking.
Keep it real,
females.
bro. Keep it real.
I'm not
Keep it real.
knocking females. I think it's
And maybe, I mean, other agencies,
Yeah, I haven't. I think maybe one or two out of my entire career that would step up.
But you have a benefit because you worked corrections at one point.
Yes, I did corrections.
So even in that
corrections.
environment, now in corrections, what's called realistic. That's a hard environment to work in.
Yes, I ran into some solid females in correction because you're in there, man. You're in there with 40 inmates.
you ain't got no gun.
No gun, just a radio.
Yeah.
So you got to hold your own.
So
That's
you got to
real.
hold
That's
your own.
real.
But you cross over on the road and you encounter like Fred said or Smitty, most of the females are all about their hair. First of all, they come to work with their hair long. You know you cannot be an officer with a long hair because you get an offender.
That's
the first thing they're going to do is what?
Grab your hair.
Grab your
Grab your
damn
hair.
hair.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you're in a losing battle right there to start with. So, but you meet some that are pretty productive and want to not let the thing with police work is you could never let the person take over your call or your conversation. You give them time to speak. If they crank it up, you crank it up.
Yes.
You never let them think they have the upper hand because
Right.
it's a losing battle. Better just get into your damn squad car and go to your next call.
You know,
You can't.
you can't show fear. And even if you don't know, bullshit them.
Huh?
Seriously.
That's true.
I mean,
That
even
is
if you
true.
don't, this bullshit them.
Yeah.
I mean, but do something.
You know, man.
Yeah. You know, that's my thing.
I've worked with some talented females, but
Yeah.
honestly, and I talked to someone about this the other day. I prefer to work alongside as a police officer a bull dyke.
Oh,
Now, let me explain. Let me explain before people get upset or offended. A gay female who doesn't look pretty or beautiful, because first of all, when you get a real cutesy, beautiful looking female, and and they come to a male dominated environment, it's like sharks in the water.
Yes,
and
100%.
and they're looking for blood.
They're chasing.
And all these guys are trying to bang that female. We've seen it happen several
and
times.
help them with their calls.
Yeah.
Doing their work.
Give me the bull dyke that got hair on her arms and is about it and could get down when the shit hits the fan. I don't care if she's a good report writer. I don't care if she's good with her verbalization skills. I don't even care if she's fat, as long as she's gonna fight when the shit hits the fan. And nobody's gonna. There's not a chance that any of them dudes trying to. Well, they still may try to bang her, but you know.
No, that is true though. That is true. I really support
yeah,
that. We need strong females. Not saying some isn't, but police. You need to. I haven't encountered a lot in my 23 years.
Yeah.
That somebody will take the lead, go in. Maybe one.
I
or
haven't
two.
encountered a lot when it came to use of force or acting decisively. I have encountered a lot that were very skilled at, whether it be interviews, whether it be at de-escalation, whether it be at report writing. So there's different skill sets. So I've encountered some very talented females, not necessarily in using force when necessary, but that's just my personal experience. Everyone has a different.
Well, you're feeling that way, and I'm with you simply because we are old school. And when we came aboard, it was all about force,
Aggression. Yeah,
aggression. I mean,
Yes.
let's be real.
That's a good point.
It,
So the philosophies and
Yes.
the times have changed. Yeah.
Yeah, so when we meet these guys and females,
Yeah.
so to speak, and they're not stepping up, we want to mirror them like us when we're training them.
Right.
But you know what? It's not the same. This
I feel like we're biased too, because we came from that era, and you see, like, if you see like a real cutesy female, you're like, here we go. In your mind you're already saying,
100%.
well, she ain't gonna be able to fight.
Yes,
She can't.
yes.
She's not gonna pull her weight if
Yes,
she has to get down and dirty.
Well,
and it may not be
yeah.
the case, but we're already biased in our
We
mind
are.
because of the era that we came from.
I will say
Tell
this.
us, Carr.
I will say this. I don't judge like that because I'll give everybody a chance. But your first impression,
Your first impression,
yeah,
for sure.
it's going to determine what I think
Yeah.
from here on out.
Yeah.
Now, if we go to a call and I can see that you're getting scary-fied on me and you're backing up, I already know this is not the job for you.
Smitty, perfect example. I trained you,
Yes, sir.
and when we go to a call, I honestly, I trained Smitty, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Get out this car.
Yeah.
Don't wait for me.
Right.
You
Make a
got to
move,
show.
make a move,
So yeah,
make a decision.
that's the type of trainer.
Yeah.
Because again, like me and Fred said, we are from the old school, so we don't take shit. We're in charge. We make it happen. We were called to this call. We didn't drive by and just stop.
Right.
Figure that out. So I was very
You was hard. You was. I'll put it this way. You was thorough, but you got to the point. Is what I respected about it. You know, yeah. When you're in FTO training and you got all these different trainers, and everybody's training you differently. One's telling you not to get out the car, and until they tell you get out the car, another one's telling you what the hell you waiting on, and another one is just like, don't talk to you at all. Don't. It's like, and you got like all this going through your head, and you thinking,
it's all right, bro.
You know who I'm thinking of?
I remember throwing a damn a clipboard at this guy.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, dude, he was like. It was.
Well, tell us a story like that, because I feel like the kids nowadays who come on to the
Man.
agency,
So,
they have no idea.
When I became a trainer,
They would go to human resources or something like that.
when I became a trainer,
Give us a good story, a good FTO
when I became
story.
a trainer, I trained just like some of my old trainers but I was from the military too, so my mindset was that. But yeah, so I'll give you. So this is that George brings up. Oh man, so we're riding around, doing the patrols, and we're going over things. And George, oh man, so George liked to take me through alleys, and so I knew the city, but I didn't know the city. So it's like I know most of all the main streets, but then like the alleys, and then you got to try to remember 100 block. And Georgia had you making like 50 million turns, right? So I'm going through all this is going through my head, right? I'm going on my
You trying to do your best.
Yeah, I'm trying to do my best. And then all of a sudden, something happens in front of us. I can't remember exactly what. And I saw it, but it was like, okay. But I got like 50 million other things going through my head. So
You're still trying to remember the streets.
right. So it's like I kind of like was like, oh, I'm not paying attention to that. Next thing I know, a freaking clipboard comes flying by me. It's like, bro, are you out your mind? What's wrong with you? You didn't see that? And I'm like, oh Jesus. I was like,
See, something like that, these new kids
the
today
new kids
would
couldn't
not
handle that.
They couldn't
survive.
handle it.
dude,
You know, when I first came out, I remember my first briefing session, and I was a brand new officer. I was still in training, and I walked into the room, and you had all your senior officers, and I sat in a chair.
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
And the other officers, the senior officers, was like, "Hey, man, you can't sit there."
Yes.
And I'm like, "Why not?" And they're like, "Well, that's so and so's chair." And I'm like, "I don't see his name on it." And they were like, "Nah, bro, don't sit there."
Yes.
So then so and so came in, Officer so and so. He came in and just started cursing me out, and he was obviously intoxicated.
Yeah.
They call this officer 2.0.
Hey,
And I couldn't even understand him. He talked like almost like a gremlin smurf. He was just like, and I was like, okay, now I get
That
it.
is
Let
true.
me move out
Yeah.
of this chair. And then they would also tell me, like I remember they would ask me, "What's your name?" And I would say, "I'm Officer Diaz." And they said, "You know what? We don't even want to know your name. 'Cause you've been in this bitch 5 years."
that is true.
And I was like,
That is true.
and you know what?
Yes.
And I was like, well, okay, no problem.
Hey,
I just got to adjust.
Speaking of him, so I had the same experience. I went to brief it. They said, hey, actually, they didn't warn me. I sat in the chair. I sat in the chair, no lie. And then next thing you know, somebody kicked the chair behind me. And this guy had his shotgun. You know, back then, you take your shotgun when you come to briefing.
I can see it now.
Yes. And he's like, get up. Get the fuck up. I'm like, but like, you know, I'm new.
Yeah, you're just trying to
I'm
do
like,
your
God
job.
damn, and everybody else around,
Laughing.
you know, all the
They're
old
laughing.
timers, they're like, man, you better get up. You better get up.
dude.
I got up, man, but yes. And I know it's the same guy.
It's the same guy.
He had a chair that nobody can sit.
2.0. He was
Dude.
he,
Can't
every
sit
day
in
he
it.
came in at
No lies,
2.0.
Eddie.
They set me up on. Hey, so I
Alcohol content.
hey, they set me up on first shift. So the person who was running shift that day, the SEAL that was running shift that day, I guess like I said, it's initiation, whatever you want to call it, hazing, whatever you want to call it. So they said, yeah, sit here, and that's where
The same person?
the CO was sits at.
Oh, the CEO. Okay.
So I'm like, and I ain't thinking nothing about it. I'm like, they told me told me to sit here. Everybody here's, hey, I'm still in the FTO training, so I ain't gonna argue with nobody. I'm gonna sit where you tell me to sit. Hey, that's that military thing. Okay, I'm sitting right there.
Yeah.
So the CO comes in,
Think I know who that is.
looking at me, and says, "Oh, here you go. I guess you want to get briefing." And I'm like, no. And, well, you're sitting in my chair. Well, I'll get up. No, don't get up. And I'm thinking, oh,
I know who that is.
I'm
brother.
thinking myself,
You gotta know.
oh my goodness. I'm thinking myself, I'm like,
Yeah.
Set you up.
yeah, set me up. And you know
So-
what? And they're all laughing. And everybody in the whole room was laughing.
They knew that was
Hey,
gonna happen.
Yeah.
Hey, Freddie, no, I don't think you might remember, but you remember when we were on patrol and one dispatcher fell asleep in the dispatching office and we couldn't get in?
Yeah. I do.
Hey, the phone, what's going on here? You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Nobody could get in and she's like this, just
Just
knocked
knocked
out.
out. It's just a different era.
Yeah.
I mean, I think now, when we talk about these things, they're funny and they're
Yeah.
kind of alarming for people to hear this. But it
was
there's
the
more
culture.
accountability
It
now.
was the culture
It was the
there.
culture back then.
It was the culture
It was
there.
more accepted. I think
Yes.
back then law enforcement worked hard and they
Yes,
played
man.
hard as well.
Yes.
Right.
But good
here-
policing back then.
Here's the thing about policing. Starting with your FTO, because I don't count that police academy nonsense. I've had boot camps that was harder than that. But it was back then. It was okay. We're gonna see if you actually can cut it, or we need to weed you out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And ain't no, we're gonna hold on to you and hold on to you.
Yeah.
And then now you head on to them too long. Now you can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
They're not doing that no more. We wasn't doing
Yeah,
that back
and
then.
I feel like the major thing is most of the FTOs wanted to see you get into a fight. They
Yes.
wanted to see you
Well,
fight.
right,
if you were
right,
going to be
right,
scared, or were you going to
Yes.
respond?
You're right,
to
Freddie.
like just a high,
Hell yeah.
Go
violence situation. Yeah,
or even like on midnights, we had certain bars that there's always
Yes.
a fight at close in. So when they come on midnight, we would hope they get the good FTO that wants to get involved,
yes.
other than just answering alarm calls.
If
Those
you
are
wouldn't put
easy.
hands on someone, you're going to get what was the rating scale? 5, or it went 1 to 5, right?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
would get ones. You would get ones.
Yes.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
And-
what did that mean? That you couldn't?
No,
failure to
Xfinity can tell you
perform?
what that means to me.
What's
Where
a
do I
one?
send you?
You on the front desk, baby.
Yes.
You go. Matter of fact,
It-
you go to the front desk, and your FTO is. Matter of fact, you're gonna be on the front desk the rest of the night doing front
Yes.
desk reports. Why they're riding around,
Yeah.
and you stuck around there in that 4 walls.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
and,
that's- that-
and you won't. You don't even see your FTO until the end of the shift.
That was a punishment for me.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can function out here, then go sit at the desk
Yes.
right.
and read your
Yeah.
your
And
your
I don't think
manuals.
anything's wrong with that. I think law enforcement is a paramilitary organization. There has
Yeah.
to be
It is.
discipline. There has to be
It is.
consequences
Yeah, it
for
is.
failing to perform.
I like I said, once I got the hang of it and I knew what was expected.
Sure.
Because my thing was, I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to do anything to
course
get
not.
fired. But once I started thinking, I said, wait a minute. I said, I think as long as I do, even if I don't know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, you
but
make
if
an
I,
effort.
But
Make
if
an
I make
effort.
for that effort, okay, worst they're going to tell me is, okay, you know what you know what you did that was fucked up.
Yeah,
We're going to talk about it. All right. And they're going to tell you, okay, this is what you did fucked up. But the other part, you're not gonna get me for a lack of aggression,
Right.
Because I'd like to fight anyway. So you wasn't, so that one you weren't gonna get me for a lack of aggression. So it might have been it'd be the other stuff, Okay, well, I wasn't up on this law, or I wasn't up on
Yeah.
certain vehicle operations, or something like that. But fighting, you was never gonna get me on that. Matter of fact,
But-
That was the cause I wanted to go
Yeah.
to.
I think Fred, we could detect that like within the first
Yes.
first month to see if somebody,
Because there was so many calls that
Yeah.
you were going to have a situation where you had to put hands on someone.
Yeah.
There was so many.
especially where we work.
Every
Yeah.
day. It was
Yeah.
like every day.
Yeah.
It, you know, I think I found, and I didn't realize how frustrated I would be when I became an FTO. Yeah, because I didn't want you to be exactly like me, but I wanted you to show me something.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you got to show me that this is the job that
Basically
you want
your
to do.
pupil. It's basically
Yes.
your pupil,
So-
and you're guiding him along, right?
So my
Right.
question to you guys is this though: do you think the pay scale in today's right now society has a factor with these younger
Oh, yeah.
people coming in that are not qualified?
Yeah, I and I think it does because I mean, it's a tough profession, and what's going to draw people in? It's like a competition for all the agencies right now because there's a shortage of police officers. So what's going to draw them in is that salary.
But think
Is that
about
salary, and then everything else comes next.
think about what you guys got paid when you first started.
Yes.
Oh man,
Yes.
how much you got
Yeah.
paid, George?
I think I started at 27,000.
Yeah, that's it because we
Okay.
both
Yeah.
started together,
Yeah.
so it's
But-
about 27,000. But it picked up pretty quickly.
Yes, but so you think that these younger people are not looking at what the job entails? They're just looking at money.
I think younger people are, I think a lot of people, they think, well, law enforcement is a great profession, and it is. But they're looking at TV, they're looking at the media, they're looking at, because law enforcement has veered into like, when we first started, you were basically a warrior. Most of the guys were paramilitary, came out of the military, came
True,
from wars.
true. Yeah.
Guys who know how to handle themselves physically, guys who know how to shoot, guys who know how to handle themselves in high crisis situations. But now it's veered into more of a social worker where you're kind of you have to respond to those situations, but there's a lot of de-escalation. There's a lot of referrals, and even most agencies even have social workers that come on scene to deal with some of that stuff as well. So you're kind of now law enforcement pseudo social worker, whereas when we were first started, it was more of a warrior, type
Yes.
mentality.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you said it. Look at New York. I mean, they're saying
Yeah.
New York eventually going to start putting social worker on the street.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, some
Wait,
agencies
wait.
around here are putting social workers
Right.
on the street.
With the police or
yeah.
Well, they respond to those type of calls
Calls
where it's like
after-
a mental health type
Yeah.
situation, and then I think they stage, and then once the police determine that the area is calm, then the social worker.
well,
can come in.
well, in that case, I think it's a good thing. That wasn't around when we.
No, it wasn't. We
What?
we dealt with crazy, we
Oh
dealt
my
with
gosh.
old, we
Yeah.
dealt with
Yeah.
young, and we handled it all the same. There was no, well, this person's a little
You're so
crazy.
right.
Didn't
Yeah.
matter. You're going to
But-
jail.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But-
we were,
but you're right.
But we was
Hey, it
every.
didn't
but
matter
we-
if you
we
were
was-
crazy. It didn't matter if
But-
you were sane. It didn't matter what you're gonna catch these. You're gonna catch this two piece and
But
get that ass.
is it right or is it wrong?
Well,
You know, Fred, let's think about it. This guy might need mental health, and we didn't care.
We didn't care.
We didn't care.
but you gotta remember.
You're gonna go to jail.
Everybody was equal.
But you gotta remember though, like now where mental health has been brought out to the light
Yeah.
more so.
Yeah.
Back
There's
then,
specialized training now
Yeah,
for that.
back then we wasn't. First of all,
No,
we didn't hear
we-
nothing about no mental health.
No. Didn't matter if you were
Hey,
crazy.
Matter of fact, you 96.
If you act crazy, we act crazy.
yeah.
We act crazy. Yeah.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yes.
You're 1096. Okay. Da.
What does 1096 mean?
You got to tell the audience.
1096 people is you're crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, you're a little disturbed, But
So,
but
actually, those calls you knew you were gonna have to put
Yeah,
hands on.
yeah.
Right.
So you were amping up even before you
Yeah.
got there.
you was already ready. You was,
And
hey,
then you call an ambulance to take him to the crazy hospital.
Oh my gosh.
but you do know. But I think
Oh, yes, sir. What's that?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm thinking
I think that the way things are going now, and the training that they're putting forth, they're going to make law enforcement a thankless job. And here's what I mean by that. you saw the movie Demolition Man, right?
Was it Demolition Man?
Demolition Man, where they had
Wesley Snipes, I think.
yeah, Wesley
Okay.
Snipes and Sylvester Stallone.
Okay.
And they had this, and the cops were asking the tablet, how shall I respond, or how to, and the tablet was telling them, well, okay, well, raise your voice, and so the officer raised his voice.
Yeah, like that.
I honestly believe that at some point it's going to become thankless, but well, look at it. Look. We're in a computer age. We're in a technology based.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
age.
onto something.
And it seems like nobody could think for themselves. I'm thinking. I'm not saying now. I'm not saying 10 years from now. It's hard to say when, but I believe at some point that's what it's going to come down to. Yeah, you're not going to be
Yeah.
carrying, and you're not going to be carrying 45s and 9mm.
You're probably right.
You're going to be carrying some type of taser type gun, so you don't hurt nobody.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Now I will
honestly
tell you
believe that's
this:
what's gonna
years
happen.
ago, when we would respond to a call, whether the subject was had a mental illness or not, we were very tactically sound because the first thing in our mind is officer safety.
Right.
So for the most part, that's
Yes.
all we cared about. We wanted to make sure that this person's not going to have an advantage on us. Now the problem
Yes.
is officers go to these calls and they have to think about A, B, C, D. Is this a mental
Is
health
he
disorder?
okay?
Can I make a referral? It's too much to think about. And then
You're
that's when
right.
these mentally ill people up a knife, up a gun. And then even at that point, a lot of officers are failing to respond because they're worried about what's going to happen next. If they're going to be on
Repercussions.
CNN or Fox or whatever
You
the
know
case may
what?
be. They're worried
You
about
know what,
consequences.
Freddie?
I hate to say it. Guess what? I guess I'll just have to be on the news, but I'm going home that night.
No, but you are so right in today's
Too
society.
much to think about, bro.
Yeah.
There's too much.
We didn't have all
We
that.
just react.
We just react. Oh, you acting crazy?
Yes.
We act crazier. And then once we
Right.
subdue you, then we could send you to a mental health
Yes.
evaluation or anything
I
like
can
that.
remember back in the days. I'm like, you want to go to jail?
Yeah.
I mean,
You want to go to jail? You want to go home?
You want to go to jail?
Yeah.
You know, and now these people are like, well, sir, man, policing. I
It's
would
changed.
never.
I feel like the officer safety has gone down because these guys and gals are thinking too much about everything else. So the officer safety has gone down to the point where they're negotiating everything and they're giving people a lot of time. Like when we were officers,
Too much time to think
Time.
about
you
what they're getting ready to do.
you don't give a person who is a criminal, who's a violent felon, you don't give them time to think.
man.
You just take assertive force and action immediately.
Yes,
You end
turn
it
it
right
around.
there.
Well-
You end it right there because if you're giving them too much time to
Yes.
think, they're like, should I pull away? Should I get my gun out? Should I do
Well-
this? Should I do
well,
that?
That is so true. That
telling
is
you.
so
It's
true.
I'm telling you.
Situational awareness.
Decisive action.
These younger generation, man, they're in- they're
Situational
in trouble.
awareness is what they don't have. Seeing situation, they don't have that. They don't process that
But it's
the way
not-
we process it.
But it's not their fault. It's how you're getting trained out of the academy now.
Oh,
And
yeah, I
then
agree.
everything
Well-
you're seeing, all the liability.
Yes.
You're spending maybe 40 hours a week on liability
Okay.
classes and courses.
That's true.
How not to get sued,
But-
how not to get fired.
But here's the
That,
problem.
that's their main concern, being
That's it.
sued.
But here's the problem: is it the academy's fault or is it the society's fault that created that?
I think you got government involved. You got society.
Yes.
You got law enforcement.
Yes.
You got a combination of everything.
Freddie is so right. You go to the academy now. I'm pretty sure it's not like when we went.
No, it's not.
So they're going to teach you about all these liabilities,
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
how to protect yourself. They're not hitting the core of policing.
I tell you, the last guy I trained, where we was at, so and I could tell you how much that stuff has changed. It's because we became more mentors than we did becoming trainers. That's one. And then the second thing was that I believe, when I went to visit the academy, when my guy was there, and I just sit through a couple classes and stuff. The academy that I went to, the Chicago Academy, they taught you emergency vehicle operations, all that. They don't do that there no more. They stopped doing all that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself like, okay, so the whole new generation that's coming out of the police academy don't know how to operate an emergency vehicle. Everything's FTO. Let the FTO train you. But you got to have some type of basics. You got to have something to build on. I can't teach you how to drive a car.
All right, we're going to talk about racism in law enforcement. So basically, racism within the ranks of the agency, and then racism with the citizenry. So, Carl, you want to go first and take that topic?
Sure. Well, I could say personally, within the department, I really didn't experience any racism that I could actually recall that was any significance. Outside the department, I think there's only a few people I actually dealt with, maybe out in the public, that were racist in a sense, but
Okay. Well, I can't believe he said that, but he did. So, as far as me, I experienced it. So, I've been taking the sergeant's test after 5 years after I was eligible, and each time I take this test, I would always be within number 5 or 6 every year. So that is because the people that sit on the board, there was one lady that was the president. She controlled the board.
Wow.
She would, and this is so true, man. She would always ask me, "Are you going to use your military points?"
Yeah.
Now, if y'all don't know, I was in the military just like Carl and Fred, and she would ask me that, and I was naive to the cause at the time, and I would say, "Yes, I'll use my points." So what she was doing was calculated how much they're going to give me plus my military points to keep me at number 5 and 6, not to get promoted. And she was so biased.
No. What was she biased against or for, or what was she trying to accomplish?
All right, good question.
Yeah.
So she was all pro-black. She wanted to get all the black officers promoted. As you can see, I'm Hispanic. So that was her thing. She was always wanting to get the black officers ahead of me. And she succeeded, because there was quite a few black that got promoted ahead of me. But I thought, no, that she was so unfair. She's not there anymore, which is good for the department. I did get promoted, but I think it was like 15 years in, I got promoted, which was, like I said, which is unfair to me, because she kept me down. And it was a known fact. Fred can tell you, I can't believe Smitty, I don't know if you went for the sergeant's test, but Fred can tell you she...
But he wouldn't have experienced that, because if she's
Oh, well,
pro-black and
but
he's
you're
black,
right.
right?
And that's what I said. Against me personally, like
Yeah.
I didn't experience it.
I dislike
me.
her. I
Yeah.
dislike her so much. I'm not going to call name, but she
Yeah.
was so biased.
Yeah, she was, and I have my experience with her as well. But the one thing about racism, like if you look at me, right? So I'm and we were talking about this before we started rolling. What's my race, right?
Mm-hmm.
Puerto Rican, Polish.
True.
I got a little Spain. I've seen racism from blacks who don't like Hispanics or whites, but I've also seen racism from Hispanics who don't like blacks. I've seen whites who don't like Hispanics, whites who don't like black. I mean, I've seen racism in all types and circles from different races,
levels.
and all levels, right? So so you're always going to have that. But within the agency, honestly, I don't think, I think that he's right about that particular individual.
Yes.
I can tell you that as well, but it didn't necessarily prevent me from getting promoted and the opportunities I've had. And it could be more of a thing that I just happened to score a certain amount, or it just happened to hit at the right time, right?
Yeah.
So I would say it didn't necessarily affect me. Have I seen racism? Yes. Now out in the street, honestly, I've seen racist white officers.
Yeah.
But I've also seen racist black officers too.
Yeah.
Just like I said, it comes in many forms and many circles.
Yes.
So as far as me, I could recall arresting Puerto Ricans, because I am Puerto Rican. A part of me is Puerto Rican. And I remember the guys would ask me, "Hey, bro, give me some play, for La Raza, give me some play. Let me, hook me up so you don't charge me with this or that." And you know what I would say, man, I'm gonna charge you with everything I got because I'm trying to weed your criminal ass out the race. That's exactly what I would tell them. And that's the way I saw it, man.
Yeah.
If you're out there doing some bullshit, how is that bettering my race? You know what I'm saying? You got an ounce of dope on you and a gun. How is that making it better for my race? It
Yeah.
really isn't.
Yeah.
It's denigrating my race. So
Yeah.
you know, whenever I had the opportunity and you're on some bullshit, don't get me wrong. Sometimes there's situations and circumstances to everything, and sometimes you do have the ability to use officer discretion on certain situations and certain calls.
Right.
But for the most part, if you're on some bullshit, I didn't even want to hear about race, and I
Hey,
wasn't trying to hook you up.
You're so right, Fred. I mean, when it comes, and you all need to understand, when it comes to making an arrest, we were most of the part fair across the board. Now, when it comes to hiring, I've seen where they want to get certain type of individual, whether it's black, white, or Hispanic, in the PD. And, you know, I mean, but to me, qualification is everything. If you're qualified for a job, then it shouldn't be, you push it. I've seen, or I've heard, haven't seen, heard that really qualified people would be ready to get hired, and there would be a little thing that knocked them out. Now, you can figure whether it's fair or not, but like he said, I think once we're on the street, I don't care if you're black, Hispanic, or white.
Right.
You're gonna go.
Let's talk about this. Let's get into a little bit of a controversial topic, especially from the demographic area that we work.
Okay.
If you know, as far as blacks and Hispanics, do you feel like they were disproportionately stopped or arrested?
I was going to interject, as far as Freddie was saying about racism in the department we worked, there was, you know, and this is the way it is. Like he stated earlier, that where we work is predominantly black and Hispanic. So if I would see a white person at the gas station, parked, waiting,
True indeed.
what comes in mind?
Looking for dope.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
He's looking for dope. So one of two things gonna happen. We're gonna sit back and see who's gonna deliver, or where they're gonna go, or we encounter him right then and there. So it was, and I hate to say, but I'm pretty sure it's like that in other cities that are predominantly white.
So you have a bias. You have a bias because that individual is white and he's in a high drug trafficking area
Yes.
at 3 a.m.
Well, if he's not-
100%.
So it's a profile.
It
Well,
is.
If he's not, we all knew who lived in our town for the most part.
That's true,
So we knew that anybody that
Don't fit in.
that didn't fit in,
Yes.
you probably there for a
They're
reason.
there for one reason.
Yeah, you there for a reason. So it's just a matter of, you know what, I'm gonna sit back in the cut because you don't see me, and I'm gonna wait.
There it
I'm
is.
gonna wait and see if somebody shows up, and it's gonna be a hand to hand,
There it is.
or you know,
And we did that minute.
Oh.
Freddie.
yes,
That was
How
our
many
bread and
people
butter.
we
That was our
stopped?
bread and butter. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's just how it went. I mean,
Yeah.
you're a white guy from, like 4 towns over.
Deerfield, or
Yeah,
or something like place like that.
From 4 towns over that has a different socioeconomic element,
Yes.
And you're in the town that we're working in, and
Yes.
you're there at 3 a.m. The
Man.
demographics are predominantly black and Hispanic, and you're a white guy. You stick out like a sore thumb.
So yes, I did that. I mean, you're right. It's not racism, so to speak, but you know.
no,
it's racial profile.
we've all done it.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
Now, if we would have worked for a different agency, so the socioeconomic where we worked, your medium household income is about 40 grand right now. But if we worked in a different demographic where the medium household income is about 100 grand, I'm sure the protocols
course.
and the culture and
Of
everything
course.
would have been different.
It's the same difference, Freddie.
Well,
you flip it.
I give you.
So you're saying if it's a maybe a black or Hispanic
Yeah,
going
same
into that
difference.
Well,
environment?
I give you,
They-
I
yes.
give you,
Go
I
ahead,
give you a
Carl.
perfect example. I went into Highland, and there was a Target there, and I got stopped.
For
Well, first of all, they said the first question came out their mouth was, "Hey, where you coming from and why you here?"
No.
I'm thinking, well, first of all, I just came out of Target.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
I just came out of Target, but
that's
No.
blatant racial
yeah,
Yes.
profiling.
and so when when I question them because I work for the town we worked for, so I know the game. So I asked the question. I said, "So why are you
Yes.
stopping me? What's the problem?"
Yeah.
Well, you don't need to know that. I said, well, if you look, I said, all you do is check my right pocket, my wallet, you'll see my ID. Just take a look.
But Smitty, you shouldn't have to go through that.
Exactly, you shouldn't.
I'm not gonna go through that.
But again, look at where I was at, and look at that particular time. That's what they was doing. They was known for doing that.
No. But listen, us in our city that we work for,
Yeah.
I would tell them. I said they'll be like, "Why you stop me?" And I will explain to them.
Yeah. Exactly.
You in a known drug area.
Exactly.
My only belief is that you have drugs on
Well-
you, which at this point we seen it. We
Yeah.
sit back, we
and
see the hand.
then, probably out of town plates.
But you know what?
Another
The only
area.
the only reason I think that I got stopped, so I have my off duty with me, my off duty weapon, and maybe because I bent over and I was in the
They could
store,
see- they could
and
see a
somebody
bulge or
saw
something,
it.
yeah.
But again, was I flashing it or anything? No.
But-
But you still supposed to tell me why are you stopping? I'm asking you why are you stopping me? So then when I asked for, well, hey, can I speak? Can you have your supervisor come out here? And then the guy was like, well, I am the supervisor. I said, no, you're not. I said, you're not the supervisor. I said, a supervisor, and I'm referring to as a sergeant. And you're not that.
So you dealt
Right.
with racism as a police officer, but off duty in
But I was
another
doing it
town.
right.
Wow.
And-
It would see, and it's things like this that would irritate me.
Yeah.
Being retired, if you're gonna stop me, I'm gonna ask first of all, make sure you have a body cam.
Yeah.
Yeah, have it running too.
Yes, because that's today's society.
Right.
Everything is recorded, and if my wife is with me, she's gonna record it too.
Right.
And that's what that's our society right now. And you're gonna explain to me if I haven't done nothing. You're gonna explain to me why you stopped me. And we've been through this, Freddie
Yeah.
and Smitty.
Yeah.
Every time we stop people, we have to have a PC.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
called PC,
Right.
probable cause.
Right. Absolutely. 100%. And that's the only, yeah, was I irritated? I was irritated.
Yeah.
But at the same notion, once they looked at my ID and saw that, okay, now he's a police officer, and then all of a sudden it's
Kinda changed the
Yeah,
dynamics
all of a
of
sudden
everything.
now it's changed. Well, wait a minute.
It shouldn't change.
It shouldn't change because I'm a human being just like everybody else is a
Yes.
human being. So why should it make a difference? We're not if I'm a cop, not a cop.
You're right.
If I'm just at a store buying some things and I came out the store,
Yeah, it shouldn't make no
But
difference.
but Smitty, back in our days, and this goes to all of you guys. If I stop somebody, I'm gonna I'm gonna create a PC or have a PC.
You're gonna have a PC,
or I'm
yeah.
going to see a hand to hand, like
Yeah.
Freddie just said.
Yes.
I'm going to see.
You're going to have something to justify it.
Yes,
Right.
I'm
Right.
not going to stop you because you're driving a Datsun 510.
Yeah,
I
So-
agree.
So I got a story, but it's kind of a little bit off topic, and it kind of reminds me of this situation, but it's not necessarily racism. I could recall when I lived in a town near the town where we worked. I had like a really large yard, but I didn't have it gated, and this was off duty. So people they would go to a festival at the downtown area, and they were always running across my backyard.
oh,
So it was maybe 1 a.m, and there were people running across my backyard. And my buddy was home with me. We were watching TV at the time. My wife, kids were sleeping. He's like, man, there's somebody running in your yard. So I got out, I got my gun, and I started chasing this person. Had no shirt on. And I'm chasing him down the street like a madman.
Oh,
Yes. So the police actually come, and they're like, get the fuck down, get the fuck down. Get out the car. There's like 4 of them. They got me kind of surrounded. I get down, and I got my gun in my side. And before going to the ground, one of the officers elbows me in my head, and then another officer grabs my gun. And then, as we're going through it and everything, and I'm on the ground, they got me proned out. one of the officers was like, I know him. He works for such and such agency. And you know, and at the time, I'm like, why did this guy elbow me in my head? Why? He had no right to do that. But then I thought about it. Well, wait a minute, bro.
We do the same.
You out here without a shirt, chasing somebody down the street with a gun.
Yeah.
What do you expect is going to happen?
They don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Right. You know, what do you think is going to happen? And like George said, we do the same thing in
Yes.
that situation. So I was like,
Hey.
it comes with the territory.
Yes.
So then the officers were like, hey, man, maybe, you know, we got the guy. We found the guy you were looking for. You should sign a complaint against him, you know, because we had to use this force and this and that. I'm like, nah, man. You know, apparently he was a little kid to begin with. He was probably like a juvenile, 17. And I was like, nah, I'm good. But, you know, I thought about that. And initially I got upset. But then I was like, well, wait a minute. I'm doing the same thing, you know, as the criminals do. I'm out here running foul, running amok, chasing someone with my gun down the street.
Somebody calling
man
with a gun.
So after I rationalized within myself, I'm like, I would have done the same shit, you know,
100%.
given that situation, if not worse.
Yeah, 100%. Right? Yes, you know how we are.
Yeah.
But you know, it comes with, and you're right. You left your gate, your house, you know, hey. That's not. You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. So whatever comes after, then, like you said, but you took it.
Yeah.
Because this is what we do.
This is what we do.
So what we do, Smitty.
I agree.
You know.
I agree.
And once again, man, you gotta go back to, it's not racial profiling or nothing. It's just a man with a gun running.
Yeah. So let's get into something more relevant to the current times. Let's talk a little bit about ICE. How do you think they're going about their business? Do you agree how they're going about their business? Do you agree with their tactics? Do you agree with the use of force? What do you think about this whole migrant situation and Operation Blitz and what's going on in our country with direct orders from the president? We'll start with you, Carl. You take that controversial one.
Thought he would have came to me first, Carl. But he went to you.
Well, I'm not against ICE. I'm not. I mean, there might be some incidents, and again, I'm not there. All I see is what I see on the news, and I don't believe everything I see on the freaking news. But they're taking orders from the president to get illegals out of this country. And I'm sorry, people might get upset at this, but what other country can you go to in this world for free? Just walk across the border like it's cool. None, people. You can't. You can't even go into Mexico without having a passport. And then when you get there, you still might get jacked up. At the end of the day, we're the only country that's allowing that, and that's only been allowed from other administrations. And it's been going on for a while. It's not like it just happened yesterday. It's been going on for a while. But you got somebody that's trying to fix the problem, because why are they living scot-free, tax-free, and all this other stuff? And I got to pay high property taxes and taxes on top of taxes to take care of somebody that's not even from this country.
Okay, that's fair.
Now,
George, give them your background first.
Yes,
and then,
of course, always,
please.
man. So I'm an immigrant myself. I came to this country in 1981. Went into the military, joined the police force for 23 years. So I'm well seasoned in this. Now, I do support, this is a deep subject. You got to understand this. I do support the deportation of criminals. Criminals can be many things. I'm not talking about just people that commits homicide, or people that come into this country and do things that Americans don't do. I support that. Now, it's a lot of factor in here. I just don't want to say deport everybody. I can't say that, because like I said earlier, I'm an immigrant. Now, you got to understand something. You had the past administration that let thousands of people in this.
I believe 1 million.
Just open it, yes. So now you got an administration that says, hold up, we can't have that, which is right. Can't have that, like Smitty says. So no, they're trying to backtrack. Now they're trying to get everybody. They can't get everybody. But once again, I support getting the people that are committing crimes out of the country. I'm not going to get into we need migrants for this job or that job. I'm not going to get into that. That's hardcore politics for me.
First of all, that's too much like slavery.
Yes, I'm not going to get into that. But I do believe I don't support, once again, I don't support health care being given to illegal migrants because I'm paying for it. You got to do the numbers. You got to watch the news. You got to educate yourself. You can't jump on the bandwagon that CNN is saying this, Fox is saying this. No, I don't believe in that. I believe there got to be, we can get to some level of
Some happy medium.
yes,
Yeah.
that we balance it out. Because if they get in healthcare, they should participate in paying into it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what that might be, what it can.
What's that middle ground, right?
Yes, but I do support that if you're getting something, in other words, nothing should be free in America. Not the SNAP. I watch all them people on SNAP. I mean, everybody. A lot of these people can work, but again, this is not politics. It's just.
Well, let me ask you this: we have people in this country that were born in this country, or even you're legally to be in this country, but the government's not taking care of them. You got homeless people everywhere. Is the government taking care of them? You got homeless vets everywhere.
Yes.
Is the government taking care of them? No. But you want to take care of somebody that just walked across the border? That
Definitely leaves a bad taste. in my mouth.
for me, being a vet, along with you guys, it personally it irks me because I think that people before me that fought in this country are not getting anything. Yeah, they're getting criticized, but they're not getting anything. They're not getting any type of assistance. But yet you want to give illegal immigrants
Freddie, now,
assistance.
let me interject. What I didn't like was that Venezuelan kid that came.
Garcia, right?
No, not him. One that came on TikTok and said all the money the government gave
Oh,
him
yeah.
in New York.
Yeah, they actually deported him.
Yes, they did,
Yes.
but that hurt, bro.
Yeah, he was almost doing like, he was broadcasting all
Yes.
the money you could make as an illegal.
Yeah.
And he's
yeah.
telling
I
them
know
to
you're
do
talking
it, to
Yeah,
come and do
yeah.
it. No, things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it bothers me.
that irks me.
You know,
Yes.
as far as my opinion, I basically, you know, I agree with both these guys here as far as, you know, if you're a violent criminal, if you're any type of criminal and you have a felony or even some misdemeanors, you know, could be violent as well. I think you should be deported. We don't. Matter of fact, I'd like to deport a whole bunch of Puerto Ricans who are violent criminals, but. Not to belabor the point, but if you are a criminal and you have felonies or even certain misdemeanors on your
true.
record, you know I think you should be
Yes.
deported. So I agree with that, but I don't agree with ICE driving to Home Depot in the middle of the day and guys who are trying to make some money, trying to help people out or make some money, you know,
And
migrants,
swooping
and just
them up.
jumping out on them and checking their IDs to see if they are illegal. Just being illegal in of itself, I don't agree with the tactics that ICE is using. Now, one thing I do agree with is ICE's use of force. ICE's use of force is they're a federal authority, and people are giving them all types
Yeah.
of pushback, and
I
they're
think
getting
it's
in their
needed.
face, and they're pushing them, they're
hell,
spitting on them.
they're being
Their use of
attacked.
force is what we used to do in the old days.
Yeah, but I don't even think it's that hard, Freddie.
It's not hard.
They're-
Don't mess
they're-
with
all right, so
don't
they
mess with a
smash your
federal
window.
don't mess with a federal authority.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
and if they're trying to take you into custody, don't resist.
Yes, I agree.
So I agree with the use of force. I don't necessarily agree with the tactics of seeking out everyone
I
who's
think-
illegal without having a prior criminal history.
And,
Yeah.
and you know, just so you know, it affects the economy. I'll tell you why.
It does.
Up here in Illinois, I just spoke to a friend that said people in Libertyville or Highland, expensive Lake Bluff, so they get their guys that cut the grass, right?
Yeah.
Now ICE is in the area, so
Landscapers,
guess
yeah.
what happens?
Nobody's cutting grass.
Nobody's cutting grass. Peep this out. It took like a month. So it took the resident to say, please come and cut my grass. I will stand guard at my door, my gates.
Yeah.
And I swear to God.
What's interesting,
But-
a
but
lot
even
of,
if
a lot of the migrants are willing to do jobs that people in this country are not
Of course.
willing to do.
Of course.
If you took every
course.
illegal migrant out of this country in one day,
Yeah.
our economy would crash.
Yes.
I guarantee you our economy would crash.
Yes, because they don't want to do the work. And that's a true
Now,
statement.
long term, I see what Trump's trying to do, because I think if you get a lot of the migrants out, long term, now these jobs they'll have to raise their prices. Like, so a general labor job, whereas it may pay $15 an hour, you're going to have to pay someone probably more money.
No, I agree. But let's hold up. I like that.
And then maybe Americans,
I like that.
who are
Now,
here can get
let's
those
say,
jobs.
and we got to go to the numbers. I'm a number guy. So let's say I own this company, and I'm going to hire 20 illegals. I'm going to give you $15 an hour or $12 an hour. Let's just say 12. Now, is it right or wrong? I'm going to charge you $30 an hour to do this job. Just say hourly.
Right.
But yet I'm giving them. So what I'm trying to say, Fred, is they're not benefit from it. They're still getting underpaid.
Yeah, they're getting pennies
while
on the dollars.
middleman, me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
is making all this money.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it
yeah.
right? Is it wrong?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's wrong. I'll say it again. That's slave labor, bro. It's just in a different form.
Yeah.
But it's slave.
It's slave labor, but they're willing to do it because in their
Yes.
country they don't even have that
That's
opportunity.
Yes,
true.
they don't even got a job.
And that's true. But at some point, just do it the right way. Get your paperwork.
Nah, no. It's easier said than done.
I know.
You sit back, you're an American. You sit back in the cut and think it's that easy, Smitty.
I don't think it's that easy.
It's not easy.
I
Because
don't think
you
it's
know
that
what?
easy, but-
They-
Did you get yours?
I can't say that. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I got it through marriage.
Yeah,
it's okay.
But,
Okay.
but I'm saying,
But-
but there's right ways of doing things, and I'm not disagreeing with what you say. It is harder. They make it very difficult here because of all the red tape and paperwork. I totally agree.
You can file asylum. You know how much people are filing asylum in this country?
All of them.
Yes.
So everybody come in and say, hey, they're killing me back here. So the whole system is fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The,
All
system,
right,
the system
so-
to get papers
Yes.
is
So
messed up,
for
yeah.
you to sit there and say, well, they can do it the right way. There's no fucking right way, man. It's
It was
hard.
much easier years ago than what it is
Bro,
now.
years ago, your employer could have filed for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if
Your-
you had a relative who was a citizen.
Yeah, you're fucking. Sorry, don't
No,
mean to
you're all
curse.
good, you're
I like to curse. Most cops like to curse. Just these two are acting like they don't curse, but I curse a lot. But anyway, your employer could have filed for you back in the 80s.
That's true.
That shit is out the window now.
I agree. I agree with you. There's nothing. I'm not disagreeing with you on all that.
I know, but you making it sound like it's easy.
No,
My-
but it's
my-
not. It's not
the
easy.
immigrants-
I understand.
Immigrants are struggling.
I don't want to make it sound easy. What I'm just saying is there's right ways of doing things to make sure that people people can't.
There's no right way, Smitty.
Listen, I see what Smitty's saying.
It's
though.
gone.
You got homeless vets. You got
Yeah.
homeless Americans
Love my
here.
vets.
And now you want to give migrants
Would
all
they-
this
would they-
money. Like in New York, they were giving them a $10,000
All
gift
right.
card.
Hey,
Chicago,
New York, Freddie,
Chica-
Everything
New
free.
York
Yeah.
and Chicago and California, they're fucking idiots.
Third
They-
world
they-
countries.
these countries are run by idiots because you know what? They want to cater to the immigrants, but they don't want to take care of the vets. No, hear me out. I'm an immigrant,
Yeah,
but
I
I
got you.
serve in the military and I love my vets. My vets come first.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to see my fellow vets. Bro? They need to be taken care of.
So along
me.
those lines, how do you think Trump is doing for law enforcement? Do you think it's been set back, or do you think it's progressing to a place where we want to be in law enforcement?
I think he's doing. Listen to me now. It's a two-sided sword.
Yeah.
Cut on both sides. I think he's doing good for law enforcement. He's doing good. He's trying to do good. Now Trump knows this is his last term,
Yeah.
so I don't think he'll make it better for the Republicans because Trump will do what Trump wants to do.
But how about for just law enforcement specifically?
I think he's law. He's very
He's pro-law
pro law
enforcement.
enforcement.
Okay.
You know, and
How
he's-
so?
Man, he support us. He and the cities that are trying to do social workers. I think he'll go against them. He's not going to fund. You know, he funds.
he ain't talking about-
He
he's not-
funds every city.
Yeah, he's not talking about defunding the police. That's
Yes.
for dang on sure.
No,
Right,
the
right,
fund.
right.
Yeah.
So you got city like Seattle, LA. You know, they got to be careful.
So what is the ripple effect of Trump being pro law enforcement? Like,
Well-
what do you see happening in you know, throughout his entire term until it ends?
He gonna listen. He gonna support law enforcement. He have always said that. There was never a time where they say he's not
Right.
for law enforcement.
Right.
He is, and seniors.
What do you think, Smitty?
Here's here's the ultimate problem. One, he's trying to unscrew what the previous administration did.
Biden.
Right.
All right. Now, when he's done, unless there's another Republican that goes in that has the same belief, or I won't even make it that way. We'll just say this: another person that goes in office, regardless of Republican or Democrat, that still wants to support the police, and we'll just go back to what we did before, right? Not supporting the police, and it's just going to be a never-ending thing. You'll have one's going to support and one's not going to support. He's doing the best he can, but he's not the end all. He's not the end all.
It's
Yeah.
up to the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up to the city, the states,
Trump,
right?
Trump,
The
yeah,
states,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, the state. My bad. Trump can only do so much for
Right.
He either fund them or don't fund. You know
Yeah.
who he is.
Hey,
Like,
the thing about that he has to be careful about is when you say I'm not going to fund a state, well, then the state's going to just go back and say, well, I can't. Well, we're not going to fund the police because we're not getting funded
Well,
for this.
it's gonna trickle down.
Yeah, that's going to trickle down.
Yeah.
So
No.
it's that like you said, it's a two-edged sword.
Yes.
and you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't.
Law enforcement took a hit during the George Floyd incident.
Of course. it did.
After that, I feel like there was a
But-
whole defund the police movement. You had the Black Lives Matter movement. You had a lot of organizations
Well,
going
he-
anti-police.
What's the other? Freddie, it doesn't matter. You cannot defund the police.
Well, I don't get me
state-
wrong. Don't get me wrong. If you're going to defund the police, and this is
Right.
where I feel that the Democrats failed to do, you're defunding the police, but you didn't have a plan B in place. So okay? I get it. If you want to defund them and you want to recirculate funds, but what was the plan B? And it never came to fruition.
But they didn't
Freddie,
have a-
it was
they-
just
there
defunding
was-
the police, and it died right there.
There was a plan
Can't.
B. There was a plan B.
Can't.
What was it?
The plan B was they wanted chaos because
That's what.
All
it
right.
was. That's
think
what
about
was.
it.
Yeah.
What does the chaos do for the Democratic Party? You think about that for a minute. What is it going to do for Democrat? Because then they can go back and then play superhero later on and come back and say, "Well, look what we did. Look what the Republicans didn't do. Look what we did."
Yeah.
And that's what that was all that was about.
So we're going to go over this topic. What is the craziest thing you two have ever seen in your law enforcement career? We're looking for a dramatic effect here. So, anything crazy, just wild,
Okay.
just something that is astonishing that
I got-
people can relate to.
Something called PTSD.
I got a crazy.
PTSD.
All right, I got to run with this one.
All right.
So the craziest thing, I was working one night and I went to a scene where this officer was chasing somebody and fired, I believe, 15 rounds at this guy that was running. And he missed this guy with 15 rounds, not one hit.
Statistically, that's messed up.
That is totally.
Did the guy have a gun?
Yes.
Okay. Did the guy fire back?
No. He was running with a gun, and this officer dropped 15. I think it might be 17. Don't quote me on
Wow.
that.
Wow.
But he dropped that many rounds and not.
What was the distance?
I don't know, but
What was the circumstances?
guy with a gun,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
the guy ran, and he just opened fire. According to him, the guy turned around, aimed at him, but no fire was shot at the officer. But the officer discharged like 15 rounds.
That is
That-
quite
that-
a traumatic
yes,
experience.
that's
For the
crazy.
officer, for the other guy involved who didn't shoot. Yeah, that's quite a true. Now, ultimately, what happened? Did the guy get charged? Or?
No, they caught him. They caught him, and because he got away, and he hit the gun on a stoop or stairway, whatever it may
Yeah.
be. And later on, a K9 found the gun, and
Wow.
he was charged. But wow,
And I'm sure the officer couldn't outlive that. I remember that.
you remember
experience.
it?
Yeah, yeah.
man,
He was getting shit every day from every
yes.
other officer in the agency.
How can you miss
It was
I
crazy.
mean, well,
that many rounds?
I mean, 15 rounds.
15 rounds is a
15
lot,
rounds.
man.
Statistically, you should have hit. One should have hit.
To be honest with you, like if you look at the data, officers and shooting incidents, it's a lot more misses than connects.
I
Yeah.
know, Freddie, but he must have been shaking the entire. I don't know. I wasn't there. It's not me.
Barney,
I'm
with-
pretty sure I would have hit my
without-
target.
hey,
without punch.
I would have hit my target.
At least in his big toe, right?
That must have been Barney Fife.
hey, but that was my.
So I'm going to share my personal crazy experience, and I'm not necessarily proud of it because it kind of denigrates the law enforcement profession. But I'm retired.
It is what it is.
and I'm going to tell you the truth. So there was an officer who used to work with us. He was kind of a crazy officer and just different as how I would classify him. And we were associates, and we were cool. One night he called me to this park, and this was in the beginning of the shift. He called me on my phone. He said, "Hey, meet with me out here." I'm like, "Sure. What do you got, man?" He said, "Just come out here. You got to come out here." So this guy was a womanizer, and he would meet women all the time and sleep around and whatever. I'm not judging him, but so I went out there, and as I'm pulling up to the scene, I see this officer. He's leaning against his squad. He has a girl who looks like she's obviously under the influence of something. He's fondling her. He's finger banging her. While he's doing that, he's like, "Hey, man, there's one in the car for you." I look in the car. There's a female who looks like half dead. And I'm like, I was a new officer. I was young. But I knew that this wasn't right. This whole scene, there was something definitely wrong with this. It was terrible.
Totally wrong.
So at that point in time, I was like, nah, man, I'm good. So I drive off. I drive in reverse. I drive off. Then all of a sudden, he calls me like 2 hours later, and he's basically saying, "Hey, man, can you help me find these girls? Because they're crashing into cars in another area of town." And sure enough, I heard the call with this same vehicle, and these two women are crashing into multiple cars
Wow.
in another location in the town. So we looked for them, but we couldn't find them. And then they finally got into another accident in the neighboring town, and that's where they got arrested. But he was worried because I guess he had slept with the female who he was fondling previously. Yeah. So it was like, that was probably the craziest thing that I've ever seen. And I was like, my mind was like, whoa, what am I getting myself into here? I was like, first year officer, straight out the military,
Wow.
squared away. And I was like, man, this is crazy. This is crazy. I've never seen anything like this. But, at many other times in my career, I've seen things that had such a shock factor.
I was about to say, bro, we ain't got one, we ain't got two, we got many.
Yes.
Cause you speaking of that, my mind just went on another one.
Smitty, what do you got?
So I think the craziest one I've seen, and I was still a fairly young officer on the forces when this guy cut off his ding ding.
Oh,
And it was like right across the street from. So he's walking, and I remember the call comes out. So whoever called in said that there's like this guy's bleeding, but he's walking, right? Well, he's like pretty much right across the street from the PD at this point.
Oh, my gosh.
So I'm like, I get the call, and I'm like, okay, well, I go over there. I ain't thinking anything about it until I get there. Like get there, it's like blood. Like I'm like a horror scene, man. It's like this Joker's just bleeding and stuff.
Wow.
And
Now, where was his penis at?
I'll get to that. I'll get to that point just a bit. So I stop him and everything, and I'm talking to him. At that time, I've called for an ambulance and rescue to show up, and I'm like, man, I said, what's going on? And he says, I'm Jesus.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. I said, what? I said, what's going on here? He said, I'm Jesus, and I had to purify myself.
Wow.
So considering where I'm looking at where the blood's coming from, I'm already thinking, this guy just
That's crazy.
arena bobbing himself? What, castrate his old
my
self?
goodness.
And literally he did. We'll come to find out. So he did it I guess, must have been at his house or his apartment, whatever. And that's where he actually did the act at. And that's where his penis was at.
Oh, my gosh.
Other part of his
Did
penis.
they attach it back?
I don't think so. I didn't.
He survived, right?
He survived. And I didn't.
You know
That's
what, though,
crazy.
Man? Nothing phases us, bro. It's
Yeah. You see incidents like
Honestly.
this, and you
Honestly.
just compartmentalize everything because guess what? Tomorrow there's going to be another crazier
But-
incident.
But
Yes.
the worst part I think about when we say that is, every time I saw a dead body, all I just wanted to go do is go get something to eat.
Well,
Hey, but I'm saying, I guess maybe that was my coping mechanism.
Yeah.
It just automatically kicked in.
Some people want to eat. Some people tell jokes.
Yeah.
Some people want to go
Yes,
drink
you're
afterwards.
right.
Some people
You're
want
right.
to.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people are addicted to sex. There's so many different
but
things.
you know what? It never, all my career, it never bothers me.
No,
I seen.
But
a
what
lot.
I tell young officers now, because I have an opportunity to be around them when they first get hired, I let them know, get your counselor now. Get your counselor now, because you have to, whatever you see and what all the craziness that you're going to see, you have to let it out, whether that's talking to someone, whether that's venting, whether it's going to counseling sessions. You have to let it out, because if you don't, eventually it'll come out sideways. And what I mean by sideways, it comes out in relationships, it comes out in behaviors, it comes out in not being able to sleep.
So, you mentioned it in your little thing just now that it could be drinking, whatever, sex.
Yeah, addictions.
So, maybe that was my thing, sex.
yeah.
no, that was your thing way before that.
I think it's still your thing.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
that might have upped it a little bit for me.
Yeah.
You know,
Because I've seen a lot.
Yeah, and we
Well,
all.
what different officers do different things, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it could be an addiction to sex. It could be drugs. It could be alcohol.
But-
it could be,
But But you're so right, Freddie. I know an officer. He was on his own. I trained him, but he was on his own. He got a call on, and this girl was burning in a car, and like seriously, so she died
wow.
in the car, and I said, "What did you do to help?" He said, "I tried, but I couldn't." I said, "No, listen to this. You stood here and watched her die." I said, "Man, you need counseling."
Yeah.
And he said, "No, I'm good."
No, you're not good.
Freddie, up
You're
to
not good.
today,
You're not good.
I know Freddie because I can picture it. Me seeing her burning.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go in there because. the
Right.
explo-
You're not gonna let yourself
Yes.
get harmed. In that
She
situation.
died.
Yeah.
She-
That's very
she-
traumatic, and that's not normal for the human eye or mind to
Yes.
consume.
I
it just
asked
isn't.
him.
I think, I don't know. I could say from when you guys started, and I came in shortly after you guys did, our mindsets were different. And I mean by that is we was groomed different. Boys, you don't cry.
No.
You're not sissies and this and that. Those type of things. That's what would be said. Suck it up.
Yeah.
keep on moving.
Yes.
Right.
You're
I
right.
tell my kids
So-
the same thing.
You couldn't tell someone back then you were going to counseling. 'cause
Right.
They were already weak.
Matter of fact,
Yes.
you didn't go
It
to
was
counseling.
frowned upon.
You didn't
Yeah,
go to
you
counseling.
really
No.
didn't.
Because
No.
you didn't want nobody to think bad about you.
Yeah.
Right.
Or think you're crazy.
Yeah. But
Yes.
but you think about it now, and,
But-
I say to myself, and I was like, well, some of the things that I saw, even in the military, I'm thinking,
You thinking we're all crazy, fucking crazy. We are.
Yeah. I think
We are.
I think we.
Think about it.
Absolutely. I think that the human mind knows how to survive. First
It
and
does.
foremost,
It does.
automatically. You realize it or not, the human mind knows how to survive, and sometimes it compartmentalizes.
Yeah.
and that's what it does automatically. Or
I think so.
and it's like
You got to let it out, though. This is what I tell people. You got to let it out, whatever that is. Even if it's just talking to someone, talking through these experiences, because it's not normal.
But you know, Freddie, I love to talk. Like
Even
when
this is therapeutic.
Yeah, when I went to call, if it's a domestic, I will talk. I love to talk.
Yeah.
Whether it's leaving this motherfucker or staying with him.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I would go to a lot of calls where it's domestic and these females are saying, but I'm not working. I need him. And I'm saying, well, you got to decide.
Yeah. You have to make a
You,
decision.
you got to make a decision. 'cause-
absolutely,
Because
absolutely.
this motherfucker ain't doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
and I think I did a lot of that too. I didn't have a problem talking with people, but and I try to help anybody.
Of course.
If you was
That's
on,
part of the
That's
profession.
our
I mean, if you was
Yeah.
on drugs,
That's our
if you're on
job.
drugs, I'm trying to find you help.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, if I'm not trying to help you, what am I in this job for?
That's true.
But also there's a limit, though. I got a cap. If I keep dealing with the same person over and over again, doing the exact same thing, I'm thinking, okay,
That's insanity.
yeah, exactly. That's
Yes.
I'm not gonna keep
Bro.
doing the same thing over and over again.
As
Yeah.
a cop, you're going to be like, you know what? You don't need my help. So just.
Right.
Thank you for joining our podcast, 50 Podcast. It's been great. I hope you were able to get something from us imparting some information to you. We look forward to the next podcast, and just join us on YouTube, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Woo!